booktube, welcome back. I'm Winx, and the ink I'm talking about today is my Friday reads. And once again, it has been a couple weeks since I did an update, so I actually have quite a bit to go over in this video. The last time I updated you guys on my reading, I was working on this, which is Within the Sanctuary of Wings by Marie Brennan. It is the final book in her Memoirs of Lady Trent series, and I was so excited for this one. I actually had it pre-ordered since, I think, October or something like that, so I've been waiting for it for a while, and as soon as it showed up I wanted to jump right into it. But I realized as I was reading it that I really wasn't giving it my full attention and I wasn't enjoying it as much as I normally would. And I think that's because I hadn't yet decided on what book I'm going to send out in the autumn book bath box. It was my goal for the month to figure out what book I was going to send out, and I just thought I would read this first because I'd been waiting so long. But I ended up realizing that I just needed to pause this one, focus on the box, and then come back when I was ready to give this one my full attention. So I did, and I had a few books picked out as possibilities for the autumn box. The first one I picked up I was instantly pulled into. I thought for sure it was going to be the one, and as I got about halfway through, I just started to realize it wasn't. The book itself was really good, it's well written, they have interesting characters. There are a few things here and there that I wasn't a big fan of, but the main reason that I decided it was not going to be a winner for the box is that every scene where there's fighting or anything of a violent nature, it's really descriptive and gruesome, and you know, that doesn't necessarily make it a bad book, it just makes it a bad book for book bath box where you're supposed to be relaxing and, you know, just having this nice serene self-care moment in the tub. So that one was The Copper Promise by Jen Williams. I got about halfway through it. I plan on going back at some point, but I just decided that I needed to put it down and move on to my other picks. However, this book involved a dragon, and I found myself getting really attached to the idea of a dragon-related theme for the autumn box. So I kind of kept that in mind as I was going into my other picks. One of them I just didn't even start in on because it doesn't involve dragons, and I kind of wanted to just focus on that, and I'll save that book for another box. Another book I picked up is one I had been wanting to read for a while. It's been on my shelf. I looked on Goodreads and it was within the range of ratings that I try to go for, so it's got enough that I know the general population enjoys it, but also not so much that it's risking everybody already owning it or reading it. However, even though there weren't a ton of ratings for this book, I noticed that there were a ton of ratings by people that I specifically know get the box. So I decided that I should not send this one out because too many people already have read it and get the box, and that would just be sad. So I got a little bit panicked and I just started going through all of these lists on Goodreads and looking through my Kindle and looking through my shelves, and I realized that there was actually a book staring me directly in the face. I actually didn't realize at first that it involved dragons, so that might be partly why I skipped over it, but I found it in a Goodreads list that was related to dragons, and everything just sort of came together. I picked this one up, I just couldn't put it down, and finished it in like 2 evenings, which is really fast for me, and I just had no question that this is going to be the book for the autumn book bath box. I have not decided on the theme officially, but I will give you all the little semi-spoiler that it's going to involve dragons, and that's about all I know. So once I had that figured out, I was feeling much better. So once again, I went back to Within the Sanctuary of Wings by Marie Brennan. I'm actually not reading this as actively as I would have expected. I was excited to get back into it, but I also just wasn't quite in the headspace for it yet. And I think that's mostly because Monday before last, I got to go meet Robin Hobb, and so I wanted to read more Robin Hobb books. And I realized that I don't have it with me, so I'll just put up a picture, but I'm currently reading Fool's Fate, which is the final book in the Tawny Man trilogy. As I mentioned, Robin Hobb was in Portland 2 Mondays back. She's doing a book tour for the final book in the Fits in the Fool trilogy, which I have not yet started, but I was still very excited because she's one of my favorite authors and I've never met her. And Jess and I decided to make it sort of an epic author date night, especially because the first time we decided to do buddy reads, it was on the Live Ship Traders trilogies. So we both have sort of a special connection to that trilogy, and yeah, it was just super exciting to get to go and meet her and hear about her process and get a couple books signed, and yeah, It was great. So because of that, I just needed to get back into her books and jumped right back into Full Spade. And I think I'm about 150 pages into that one, but it's like an 800-page book, so I've got a while to go. Then if you follow me on social media, you have probably seen me posting about this, but this last week I have taken a staycation. I took off all week from my day job so I could just be home and do relaxing self-care things and get ahead on Book Bath Box and do some extra filming and all that stuff. I kicked off my staycation by setting up this whole area on my couch where I basically had a throne made out of pillows and this tray that had snacks and drinks and remotes and everything I might need, and just a pile of books so I could just hang out and relax and read for like the entire afternoon, and it was fantastic. And during that afternoon I went through 3 graphic novels and 1 book of poetry. The first graphic novel I read was Dark Gym, which is volume 3 in the Gym and the Holograms graphic novel series. If you are not familiar with this series, it is amazing. It takes the classic 80s cartoon of Gym and the Holograms, but it updates it for current times. So, they're talking about when they're trending on Twitter and people blogging about them. There are several LGBTQ plus characters in this book and relationships, and I just love every bit of it. So good. The premise of this particular volume is actually really, dare I say, outrageous. Yes. If you are familiar with the show, you get that. But basically, Synergy, who is this AI that the main character uses to turn into Jim, Synergy is infected with a virus, and she is making this music, and anyone who listens to the music turns into a goth zombie, and they are spreading the virus and turning everyone into goth zombies. It sounds ridiculous, but I still just found myself absolutely loving it, and I give it 5 stars because it was just so enjoyable and made me really happy, and I cannot recommend this series enough. Do go pick it up if you have not already. Next, I read volume 3 of Lumberjanes, and this one is called The Terrible Plan, and this one I also gave 5 stars. It was so enjoyable. I love the Lumberjanes. If you read the series, you know there is one romantic relationship within the main group of girls, and this volume focused a lot on them and their relationship, and it was so adorable. I just could not stand it, and I love it. The last graphic novel I read was Love is Love, and this is an anthology of comics that was made as a tribute to the victims and the families of the victims from the Orlando Pulse shooting. I ended up giving this one 5 stars as well because this one really affected me emotionally, but I do also want to say that despite the happy looking cover, this is a very hard read. There are some happy comics in here, there are cute things, but there is also a lot of stuff which I think could be triggering to some people, so keep that in mind. It's not just in memory of the victims, but a lot of the comics specifically are about the shooting or about other hate crimes or traumatic events that people in the LGBTQ plus community have gone through because of homophobia and transphobia and all those terrible things. So do take that warning if you are thinking about picking this one up. Again, I thought this was great and I was really moved by it and loved it, but I do think it's important to put out that warning about the content. It made me cry a lot. It's not that long, but there was a lot of crying, and it just made me feel really thankful and privileged for the experiences that I've had and experiences that I haven't had. I am very fortunate in that since coming out, I've experienced only a minimal amount of homophobia. I've never personally experienced any acts of violence, but I have been yelled at when walking down the street holding hands with someone. I was very fearful when I lived in the rural Midwest, and I felt the need to be very careful about who I was actually out to. And it was a big reason why I decided to move to Portland, because it is a much more queer-friendly area, and I felt that I could be myself and be safe at the same time. And that was only about 6 years ago that I moved here, but just in the last 6 years, it's really amazing to see the progress that has happened in that, marriage is legal everywhere. And when I go back to visit my family in the Midwest, you see the progress that is happening and the shifts that are taking place. Obviously, there's still a long way to go, and hence this comic exists, but reading it just really gave me a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions and made me think a lot, both about how sad it is that this level of hate still exists, but also thankful for the progress that has been made and for my own good fortune in life. So again, highly recommend this one if you are okay with the content warnings that I have given. Then the final book that I completed was Magic with Skin On, which is a collection of poetry by Morgan Nicola Wren. And this one was actually sent for me to review and check out, and I was really amazed by it. The writing is beautiful. I absolutely love the writing. So it's a collection of poetry, but it follows this one story, and the story is of a writer. I think she's like a music composer, and she's in this unhealthy relationship, but the person that she's with, he doesn't seem quite human. He's kind of magical, and he is her muse. So she's in this really complex situation personally, where she knows that it's not a healthy situation to be in, but she's got almost this high from the creativity that she's able to take from living with a muse, and the like beautiful work that she's able to put out because of his existence in her life. And she goes over this journey in the course of the book where she is realizing that it's not worth it, and that she needs to get rid of him and move on and be able to find her own source of inspiration and realize her own magic within herself. Yeah, I just thought it was really moving. It had some very dark points, but it also was just full of feeling, and yeah, it's beautifully written. So I definitely recommend this one. Then I have two more books that I'm sort of working on right now / about to start. One of them I just bought this week, and it is Radical Self-Love. This just seemed like something that would be up my alley because you guys know I'm all about self-care and self-development and that kind of stuff. And the subtitle for this is A Guide to Loving Yourself and Living Your Dreams, and that just sounds really nice. So I've only read a little bit of it. I took a book bath and featured this book in it the other night. So far what I've read isn't really new to me, just probably because I'm so into this idea already, but it's all stuff that I agree with, and I think it's going to be a really fun and inspiring read. So I'm looking forward to continuing that. And the final book that is on my list to start here is one I'm going to be buddy reading with Jess, so hopefully this will result in another Books with Bae episode, and that is After the Crown by KB Wagers, and this is the sequel to Behind the Throne. Jess and I did not read Behind the Throne together, but we both really enjoyed it individually, so we thought that this would be a fun one to go into. So that is my giant update on what I've been reading over the past couple of weeks and what I'm reading right now. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have read any of these books and what you think about them, or if there's anything in this collection of books that you would like to read, or if you're reading anything right now that you just want to tell me about because you think I might like it. I like to hear these things. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I hope you're all having a fantastic start to the weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!